different heroes. Like, I think they have a very defined hero pool, but it's varied enough that they're always going to keep you a little bit guessing. It's not always Boom playing some crazy playmaker that goes off. Like, now we're seeing him go back to the DK. Sometimes it's Shad on the hard carry. Sometimes it's the cheesy picks, the Broods, the Meepos, the Lycans. So they're not just this one-dimensional team. They play all the cheesy heroes, which is obviously a good thing, a strength, but that's not just how they win Dota. And for Chicken Fighters, I think they are very reliant on Charlie kind of playing that 4 protect 1 style, playing that big hard carry. Troll has been his best hero, so I think this is the right hero to go to on an elimination game.
Yeah, we will see Charlie doing a bit of deforestation down bottom. They did get a pretty deep ward here.
Yeah.
Rather unusual placement.
That's one unlikely to be dewarded unless you start throwing spells into fog, or what would normally be fog. Lane wards can be very powerful, just able to scout the supports when they're playing around that tree area, give you a full idea of what's going on in the lane, and will be a coddle Troll. So Troll not the best hero to utilize the Keeper Light Chakra. The lower, lowering the cooldown of Whirling Axes is kind of okay-ish, but it's not like an amazing thing, I would say.
We'll see some early bounty rune duels.
Yep.
Aramis getting a lot of damage on Seneko for this. In fact, enough that Toby wants to rotate over. Not going to skill anything yet.
Decides not to chase, but he also saw that he had the Bassi ring, so he knows that harass he's doing is extra value because there's no Hedris in this lane. It's always very risky, I think, going for this Bassi on the 5 position, because if you lose some right-click trade, suddenly you're heavily regretting it, whereas Aramis, he's got the Bassi and he's winning the harass trade down bottom.
Do you really need a Bassi on Keeper?
With Troll, I don't think so. I would prefer to see the Hedris, particularly given how the lane started. I think Troll would rather see the Hedris too. So I'm not on board with Seneco's starting items, but it's one of those things that makes a small difference, but the small things in Dota can often completely change a game.
Yeah, we saw that with like the Monkey King Storm interaction in last game. Just that one slight misstep, barely not getting a kill, all of a sudden your game's a disaster.
Yeah. The Blinding Light level 1 does cost a lot of mana, 130 mana to use this spell, so he will get value out of the Bassi for himself. It's more as far as how it secures your carries lane. And I think when you're playing with a carry that can secure the last hit on range creeps, Troll very good at it with the ranged Whirling Axes. You can just chuck it to get those last hits on range creeps. You don't need the Blinding Light quite as much. At least you don't need to be spamming it in lane to get those last hits.
Taking a look at some of our other lanes here, we do have the Death Prophet mid versus DK, so no more support DPs, at least not this game. Back where I think most people would say she belongs in the core role. But, DK, just such a beast in the lane. Almost impossible to harass out. CS is really well. You ever leave, he pushes your tower. And so far, Boom off to a nice start. 8-1. Supreme a bit behind at 6-2.
Yeah. And this is one of those kind of snoozy matchups where both heroes should get their farm. Both heroes will probably be stuck in the mid lane because, like you mentioned, if you leave the lane, you're going to lose your tower. It goes both ways. If DK leaves, Death Prophet will push the tower. DK is a hero that never really wants to leave the lane too much because you're just not that mobile. You don't usually grab runes that easily. So I think we'll see more likely the supports will be the ones rotating mid rather than the mid lane is rotating to the side lanes.
Well, something the panel was focused on is how is the Pango going to do in the lane? I know BSJ said he was pretty skeptical. We'll see how that lane's shaping up now. So far, CS is even. You do have Rubik to help secure your ranged creeps, but you're against a Chen, and we all know just how annoying it is to lane against Chen. So how do you think this lane is going, and how do you think it should go?
I think it should be somewhat Viking favored overall. The Rubik, is kind of nice and is going to constantly harass. We're seeing the Chen play with a range creep just to try secure denies and last hits. Already has 5 denies. Celery blocking a lot of XP. The key thing is here, this small camp. Chicken Fighters have blocked this small camp every single time, which is making Chen's life really difficult because that level 1 Holy Persuasion, you want to grab, ideally, the Holy Priest. He gives you the Bassi Aura, the Mana Aura, and he gives you a heal, which is amazing. But unfortunately for Celery, he's unable to get that. There's a Ghost, all those little creeps are pretty useful for Chen in the laning stage, but
yeah, it used to be all about the the big bad creeps. They got nerfed a lot, and obviously you're not getting them early on now. So
the Harpy's good. I mean, every little creep is like in its own way pretty damn good for a Chen. So we're going to see how Celery looks to play this lane as a result when he doesn't have access to those.
Well, overall, looks quite even.
Yep.
In terms of like how each role is matching up. No kills yet. Very slight advantage for Chicken Fighters.
Yeah, it looks like bottom lane Chicken Fighters actually is doing A-okay. They hit level 3 first in the lane. Oh, bit of a quick spike.
Uh-oh.
Not sure if that's us or the players. There we go. We're back. Looks like it was us since the players obviously unaffected.
Yeah, no
pause.
pause.
You know they'll pause if that's on their side as well.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing I'm going to be looking at is just the power runes. That's where Death Prophet or DK, if they get like a haste rune with their ultimates online, they can gank a side lane. Particularly Death Prophet with haste is probably the most high impact hero rune combo in the early game.
Yeah, DK's decent with all of them, I would say, but there's nothing like super amazing.
I think DK is more looking to block. Like even if you grab a rune, I think DK just goes back mid. There's not really a good rune to gank with. And similarly, the haste rune you can. It's just not amazing. You don't have the damage output of Death Prophet.
Speaking of that DK, Boom is dropping low. There's an arcane rune on this Death Prophet. Supreme's committing for this. Oh, has the Fairy Fire. Will survive.
Okay.
Forces out all of his mana. He's going to Fairy out a salve. But, you know, one salve is not enough when you're sitting on 1100 HP.
Yeah, I think he would have died if Supreme committed and stayed closer. The Spirit Siphon got broken, but DK understanding the limits of his hero there. The double bracer just making him so tanky, giving him that extra bit of magic resistance too, which was actually lost from your base attributes. So in some ways, braces get better since you can't get that magic resistance just through your stats.
For now, a bit of a farm fest. Bottom lane, though, they are making a move on to Charlie here. They only have a level 1 spear, and there's just so much mischance in this lane. Like, good luck auto-attacking anyone.
That's so true. Blinding Light with axes, 70%, and then you get the 60% from Whirling Axes. Very high percent chance miss is the crazy thing about these two spells. So when Blinding Light wears off, you just throw some Whirling Axes. Mars still with 25 CS despite all that is doing A-okay. Able just to keep on using his spells, the God's Rebuke, the Spear to farm. With the Basiora, I love that Viking have the Basiora for their lane. I think Mars utilizes it very well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this hero spams so much that he rushes the Soul Ring every game and, you know, obviously is closing in on it.
Yep.
At which point he can really use the spells on cooldown.
So, no big moves yet as both mid laners
here's your haste
have hit
rune.
level 6. Yeah, this is the big rune.
With the bottle, too.
Where is he going to go? Looks like the supports, as mentioned, likely to rotate towards the mid lane. That makes a lot more sense when you have like a DK Death Prophet matchup.
Exorcism committed here. Dragon form used. Boom. As soon as he sees
got no
this
stun.
Rubik, he's going to be in trouble. It's actually basically a solo kill era. All he's doing is scouting behind the tower. Boom. Gonna go down any second now. He will, and it might actually be 2-0 as Aramis is tanking the Exorcism. Rubik really just here for moral support and rune security. Era, he's having a great time watching Supreme crush the middle lane.
Yeah. I think the big mistake Viking make there is they don't have a ward on at least one of the runes. You have to know when Death Prophet gets a rune.
They
Ideally
do have one now. I think they just
Yeah.
planted this, though. It's
on the dire side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, they had it on the bottom side. I guess you getting a
he
ward
didn't
on
know
both
which rune
runes-
it was, and he didn't know the Rubik was here.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to be able to know exactly if Death Prophet gets a haste. So he knew Death Prophet had the top rune, didn't know it was a haste. If you know it's a haste, you know you can kind of counterplay it. But a hasted Death Prophet running at you, you're in trouble. And Boom going for a greedier build with no points in Dragon Tail. I think a 1-1-3 build may have given him some plays there where you can just stun and run away, but...
Era somehow figured out this ward was here, and Seneko immediately dewards it. So now mid playing without a tower and playing in the dark.
Yeah, I think by virtue of placing their ward first, they got to get the D-ward off, and Chicken Fighters...
And they're going to farm a little stack here, depriving the Dragon Knight of Boom of that bit of extra gold.
Oh, shovel too. That's, you know, there's a lot of economy hits. And
oh, no.
and the
Chicken
Royal
Fighters,
Jelly.
they're getting everything they want.
Yep. You love these items if you're Chicken Fighters. Getting the shovel immediately is very different to getting it like 11 or 12 minutes in. You get a few extra rolls of the shovel. You know, there's less gold going around with the recent patch changes, so free TPs, free salves, you're not going to complain if you're Chicken Fighters.
Meanwhile, Viking have yet to get a neutral item.
Yeah, they're not hitting neutral creeps currently. It's actually really, I think, clever of Chicken Fighters to get these Observer Wards on rune spots. They understand that Death Prophet with runes is their playmaker. Without runes, you're not the best playmaker. With Phase Boots up now, we are going to perhaps see some moves, and Supreme does look to be headed towards top with his second Exorcism.
Wow, already. Getting great use out of the DP in the early game. Walks right
Finds
into Celery and starts it with the Crypt Swarm. Follow-up Spirit Siphon. Celery forced the TP, and he won't even make it in time. Great decision by Supreme there.
Illusion Room. Without the illusions, I don't think he had the damage.
Yeah, even illusion runes apparently. Like, normally see that as almost any hero. You're like, oh, man.
Oh, he got the bounty rune to refill his bottle.
The dream. Supreme living the dream. Might need to change his name at this rate. As Aramis comes in to try and hold the tower.
I don't think you can. Or at least it's going to take a long time. Whoa, they glyphed.
They're pushing in mid here as well.
They glyphed way too early. Nothing was even hitting the tower.
They could have waited and gotten the double value, but a little impatient.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Radiant Glyph used, and we won't see a successful push mid.
They're
Boom's going to
TP.
TP. They're going to try and fight this. Supreme gets clipped by the chains. Can they follow up here with the Inkswell stun? They do, but he's full HP. He healed up entirely from the Ghost. It looks like with all four, they're going to commit so much more to try and bring him down, and they do. Kill the spooky Ghost Lady. Saberlight rolling through, snipes Aramis.
He may die
now
for
tries
this.
to run away, though. He canceled his roll, I believe, a little early there. And now Viking on the chase with the Slight. Boom. Can he get in range for a Breathe Fire? He does. Remnant available. Commits for it, but Era with the lift. Toss him back. Stun the DK. Has one more Remnant and a Slight. Not going to throw the Remnant out. Doesn't want to risk it.
He was a bit low mana. He could have Remnant, but he would not have had mana for the Searing Chains as well. So Chad doing some quick maths there and realizing that lift probably saves him. There was a Sleight of Fist Searing Chains mana, so without the lift, I think Chad may be able to catch up to him. So narrowly
another
escaped.
haste rune for Supreme.
The dream indeed. This is such a good start for the Death Prophet.
And even though he dies there, you know, he dies after using Exorcism. So it's not the biggest deal.
Job was kind of done. I guess he didn't completely take down the tower. It is in deny range up top. But I think recognizing that the TP rotations were coming in, and this is key for Viking, is that they bring Toby into these fights. He's had this great early start. The spear into your arena wall is your biggest source of damage right now. That's your kill combo, and that's what you've got to play around if you're Viking.
So they do start to pressure this bottom lane. Pretty surprising to see a Chen DK lineup that's not even really threatened to tower at 11 minutes, gods.
Yeah.
That was the downside of that TP by the DK. He's not pushing mid during that time. Not hitting the tower.
They're the ones playing on the back foot.
They do have a ward here. They've seen Charlie. They've seen Seneko. Have they seen the backup that's coming in? There's two extra heroes smoking forward.
It's the hasted Death Prophet. Exorcism not up yet.
Actually, make it 3, because they've also got Saberlight there. The full flank.
I think he maybe popped this haste rune a bit early to rotate down bottom. Didn't have Exorcism quite up yet, and this time around it looks like Boom is going to try and punish the mid-tier 1 tower. They're like, okay, Death Prophet, you want to rotate to a side lane? I take the tier 1 mid, and I think this would have been a better play from him last time. They could have likely killed Death Prophet without him. The Mars rotation with the Ember Slight Searing Chains is how they got the kill, so Boom probably going to look back on this one and be like, yeah, I didn't need to TP top there. I should have just done like half the health to the mid-tier 1 or even taken it.
Looking for the Keeper of the Light, but Seneko just a bit too speedy.
Exorcism
slow
up top.
This push down, and meanwhile, bottom lane, they're diving Aramis. They are going to kill him off while the Exorcism top, as you mentioned. Celery already used the Hand of God. He's going to go down. Supreme still finding the kills, and the objectives continuing to go the Chicken Fighter's way. This tier 1 mid, it's being held by Seneko, but with the help of the Blinding Light, Boom can't actually get the damage he needs on it. And with the Chen dead, there's no additional push.
They're just dividing their heroes perfectly, it feels like. You know, when you're finding kills in 2 separate lanes while defending the 3rd lane with a single 5-position support, like the laning stage theoretically is over at this point. It's 12 minutes in. We're seeing teams group up. We're seeing Viking try and play around all their cores and take team fights, but they're splitting up perfectly, finding kills in multiple lanes, and just outplaying Viking so far this game.
So how do Viking get back into it? It's Chicken Fighters with a great start. They're getting their early items. They're taking objectives. What's the plan?
I think a fast blink on Toby's Mars. You often see the Vlads first into blink. I think this is a game where you want to get blink before the Vlads. He's got to be the one just going around the map, looking for initiation. Similar, the Ember needs to be fighting. All 3 of their cores theoretically come online very early. You see Boom on his DK going for a fast blink as well. So they're looking to get all these initiation items, and pickoffs is really the name of the game. Until they get these blink daggers, I just don't think they have a good way to find those pickoffs.
Yeah, we'll see if he actually commits for it. Also, has the BKB queued up. And we'll see a trusty shovel coming down. The 13 minutes, as you mentioned, not ideal.
The non-value, yeah.
It's still better than not having a neutral item, but
Absolutely. It's one of those items, even when you find your tier 2s, you generally will almost always see a support holding onto a shovel.
looks like we might have a skirmish here bottom lane. Saberlight TPing in, very tanky with the hood and the buckler.
Yeah, DD room with max Sleight of Fist, that 6-second cooldown.
It is a fresh DD too. He's got some time left on this, and he is going to be rushing the Spirit Vessel.
Okay.
Very important versus the DP.
Yeah, DP and Troll here is that going to rely on that regen, so a fast Spirit Vessel will make Supreme's life a little bit more difficult, but he does have a Yule Scepter to match it, so...
Remnant coming out, Shad taking a lot of damage, and he's going to roll off the wall and then keep on pursuing him. Another Remnant. Can he juke away from Saberlight? Third Remnant, last chance to get out of there, and Shad does, but Saberlight in pursuit. Aramis walking back as well. The rest of the team is chilling mid, farming neutrals, does not want to have to rotate.
I like it.
Seems they'll be okay, and with that bullet dodge, by the next time they fight, Gods, we should see at least one, possibly two blinks by Viking.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't, even if Ember dies there, they had no interest in trying to, overcommit to save his life because they know they would just be feeding more lives. Until they get these blinks, they have no interest in fighting. Both DK and Mars about 100 gold away from their blinks, so double blink going to come online, and then I'd expect an immediate smoke. Like, Chen already has one in his inventory. You've got to start looking to make plays.
Well, Supreme, this could be an answer for the blinks with the Yule Scepter if he's quick with his fingers and he's ready. Also going to see Troll going Battle Fury. So you mentioned the 4 Protect 1 style, definitely itemizing that way. Wants to be able to turbo farm in the late game. He makes it go on Toby here. Can he get the kill? Toby looks like he's in a lot of trouble, has the stick charges, and it's just not going to matter. Only delays things with the Bulwark, but can't stop the kill while bottom lane. Seneko. Aramis looking to pursue him, perhaps. Did throw out the Soulbind. The chain's coming out. Keeper being chipped at, but not dying quickly, while Saberlight making short work of Aramis. Ends up just having to get pulled out and run away.
Yep. Mars does go for the Vlads instead, so deciding the DK's Blink by itself is enough, and they don't want to go too all in on Blink Daggers. I guess they, it's like we need an initiation, we don't need multiple, since Blink is an item that, other than giving you that initiation, doesn't give you a whole lot else. But even whether it's 1 blink or 2, the game plan doesn't change. You got to go for these smoke moves. You can't afford to be getting picked up by yourself like we just saw from Toby and then the support kill down bottom. Viking need to start taking some team fights. They're being out-farmed, they're being outplayed. 5k gold lead this early on, and Chicken Fight is doing everything right. They've already got a mech on Seneko. Battle Fury now complete on Charlie. His farm just going to accelerate. He's already well on top of the net worth, and that only gets worse with this Battle Fury picked up.
Well, Toby did end up going Vlad, so they only have 1 blink.
Yep.
But we do have the DK blink online.
This is a
Chicken
risky
Fighters
Roshan.
walking to the Roche, the Exorcism coming out now. There's a little vision that scouted Seneko in the river, and now this creep will see all. Can they get there in time? Do they fight?
Soulbind still
Toby,
on cooldown.
Arena in 2 seconds. He can jump into the pit. He can try to start the party. As you mentioned, though, Soulbind not available. The Roche dropping low. Are they going to go?
Vision.
Toby thinking about it. It's too late. Now they lift him, and they pull him back, and now he's eating the Spirit Siphon. He could be in trouble. Charlie looking to cut him off, perhaps? No, thinks better of it. The team has that kill secured. Viking hesitate.
Yeah,
they end up deciding to push mid with Boom, but the glyph was used. Even that tower's still alive. And Chicken Fighters, they are going to live up to their name and look to fight. Supreme wrapping around, sniping couriers in the mid lane. Also going to find Celery. They're going to converge on the Chen. Yule Scepter is available. Doesn't want to use it, but I mean, they're having their cake and they're eating it too, Gods. They don't.
Absolutely.
They eventually lose the tower, but it's a denied tower.
Yeah, Viking. While some heroes figured out that Roche might be going on, until they get the actual confirmation with the Chen creep inside, they can't initiate. And on top of that, Ember's TP was 5 seconds off cooldown. So until they have the Ember rotating in, the only way you can test Roche is with all 5 heroes and like a perfect initiation. So I'm sure Ember's just saying, like, I can't TP, don't go without me. And I think rightfully so, Viking, just give it up. It's not a good outcome, but a worse outcome would be contesting Roche, dying, and then also losing like 3 heroes and an Aegis. So the gold lead going to increase. Chicken Fighters making all the right moves, and Viking in all sorts of trouble.
Leading by 6,000, Chicken Fighters, as you mentioned, in a very comfortable position. We'll see Viking look to change that. They smoke around the 18-minute mark, looking to assume control, and they do find Charlie.
Both teams scans
with the Aegis. Ward was planted down. There's a Radiant Sentry nearby. This could be immediately dewarded. They get some vision up the hill, and it's going to be Saberlight who starts it. Immediately, Aramis just lobbing out the Soulbind only on Saberlight, and it doesn't get the latch, so it does absolutely nothing.
And Rubik stole it. He stole the Soulbind. So.
Oh dear. I mean, twice in a row he's gotten nobody with the Soulbind, and now Era has it.
Yeah.
Just feels like Era's going to make better use of it.
He was really hoping to save his life
spell
there.
on Rubik. You get the double Fade Bolt, the double lift.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need teammates to play around, which is what the Grimstroke normally is looking for, so fantastic spell.
Smoke immediately by Chicken Fighters. Moving north into the Viking jungle. Hunting for kills. Boom did commit his dragon form. Has the blink. Yet to find opportunity to engage. And the team is not coming to help, but look who is coming. It's Chicken Fighters, charging it with the silence, working on Boom, the exorcism there. They do drop the Will-O-Wisp. They're trying to slay the dragon. Can they do it? He's pretty tanky. I'm not sure if they can tame him. They keep on committing forward. They really want to bring down this dragon, and they do end up getting the kill. Supreme standing his ground, diving them over to the tier 3 towers. Toby has to back off. So Dragon Knight down. Now the tower to fall as well. And no trade. They even brought the whole team back, but it was simply not enough to save the DK.
This is just like great Dota basics. Like Chicken Fighters going, they're winning their lanes, they're taking objectives. This is how you play around like a Death Prophet. Whenever Exorcism up, you go and take a fight, you take a tower, you take Roshan. And they're just playing around this cooldown perfectly. They back off and farm when it's not up. And they get Aegis, they group up, they take towers. Everything they're doing is just like good, solid Dota foundation principles, and there's nothing Viking GG can do about this. When they're playing from behind, they have a Chen DK draft. This is the kind of hero druid that's looking to be the one pushing towers themselves, and they haven't found anything.
Another Rolling Thunder and another connection. Saberlight moving on to Toby, then TPing out. Thinks better of it, just wants to grab the bounty rune, and Toby will be the one to secure a solitary bounty rune, but 3 going the way of the Radiant, increasing their gold lead even further.
And again, we see Viking smoke when Death Prophet ultimate's on cooldown. This is how you play against the Death Prophet. I talk about what Chicken Fighters is doing right. What Viking GG is trying to do is take team fights whenever Exorcism is down. They did it last time. They just aren't finding and connecting on kills. I think it's really testament to how well Chicken Fighters are playing that they are not getting caught out or picked off during these moments where they're a whole lot weaker. So this smoke is going to just lead to nothing. They're not even pressuring the tier 1 tower. They need the kills to get back in this game, which is why they're not just trying to push down a lane, because if they 5-man push a lane, Chicken Fighters probably just give it up and split push the map, trade towers, and they're happy with that. And then they'll team fight when Exorcism is back. And that's exactly what's about to happen. They'll give up this top tier 1 tower to Boom, who commits Dragon Form. So they know when Exorcism is back up, Dragon Form is down. They could even threaten high ground here, potentially.
Still have the Aegis on Charlie.
Aramis
and Aramis is the first man to TP in. Still looking for a good Soulbind opportunity. Throws out the Phantom's Embrace, gets the silence, and then looks to retreat, and that Inkswell will be stolen.
Yep. And Saberlight, Vlad's pipe on his Pengolier. Like, they've got all the team items. They're ready to go high ground with Aegis, Exorcism.
Well, game 1 was a quick stomp by Viking, and game 2 looking like it could be a quick stomp by Chicken Fighters.
Yep. 11 kills to 1. There's just been no plays Vikings been able to make.
Boom's going to initiate here. Still has a little more time on the Dragon Form, but it's onto the tankiest hero, the Death Prophet. Already at 1900 health. Aegis does get reclaimed. Charlie.
They still might push, though.
Be careful.
At least for a little bit longer.
They get the Soulbind up. They get the double Sun. Finally, something that could help the team fight. But look at the great placement of the Will-O-Wisp. The countering this is the Mars, but I don't think it's going to matter. Saberlight, he's just riding the Mars ultimate along the walls and stunning everybody. 2 heroes dead. DK and Ember, the 2 biggest cores, are looking like small, helpless kittens before the Chicken Fighters army.
We talk about this Charlie Troll being this 4 protect 1 for late game. No, it's like the early game where I'm already at Battle Fury SMY. He's ready to push. He's ready to fight. And Chicken Fighters have just ran over Viking. I wouldn't be surprised to see an early GG here. They do have... There we go. But let's say maybe there's 1 fight left while Extra's on cooldown, but it's 15k gold lead, 13 kills to 1.
Saberlight with the Super GG!
Woohoo! Spicy!